And good morning, everybody, and welcome to Beach Talk Radio, a special edition of Beach Talk Radio. We've got a special guest joining us remotely. His name is Roger Smith. He's written a brand new book, and it's really an awesome, fascinating book that we wanted to introduce our audience to. And we'll tell you about it and give you all the details about Roger. And, of course, always waiting on my better half here, cavorting around the beach here, just not paying attention to the starting time of the show. And there she is.
There she is.
Say hi to Roger.
Good morning, Roger. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
I apologize for my lateness. I meant no disrespect. I'm just really, really hot, and I had to cool down.
Didn't feel any, and thank you.
So, Roger, you've written a brand new book, and before we get to the book, kind of give our audience the history of who Roger Smith is.
So, I was born in New York and raised in Los Angeles. When I was 15 years old, or by the time I was 15 years old, I was homeless, I was a drug addict, and a high school dropout. So, prospects for the future weren't looking very good at that point. And through trials and tribulations and overcoming obstacles and through perseverance, years later, I was able to be the CEO of two of the most financially respected insurance companies in the world, and have found a great deal of success. And so, my thought in writing this book was basically that even if the cards are the deck is stacked against you, that you can still overcome it, and that you can still overcome your obstacles. So that's kind of like the Reader's Digest version of my life and where we're going with the book.
So tell us a little bit more, go a little bit deeper on at what point, I was reading the foreword of your book, and, it seems to be a lot of bottoms, and you hear people talk about, everybody's bottom is different, and you
Right.
think you're there and you're not there. So tell us how you knew, you were there, and
I was there.
then what you did, how did you chart your path back without having a lot of experience charting a path in that direction?
Yeah. So, unfortunately, I was a functioning addict, and a very good functioning addict. So, there's many places. If you read the book, you see that, there's many places that I should have hit bottom, but I didn't. And because I was functioning addict, that lasted over 20 years. I think that I really hit my bottom. I was in like a little cottage in Malibu that I lived in at that point, and I'm on all fours, and I'm just digging through the carpet looking for any sliver of crack cocaine that I may have dropped in that carpet. And I just remembered thinking, if this is what life's about, then I don't want it, and I'd rather just walk into the ocean and just end this deal, because I couldn't see a light out. And fortunately, that night I didn't do that, and I ended up going into a rehab. And I think that I really, it was the picture of who I was at the very end. That picture was so strong in my mind that I never wanted to go back there again. Never wanted to go back. And I keep that picture to this day at the front of my mind of who I was, where I was, and how I was. And so when I got out of rehab, I literally did everything different. So if I put on my left shoe first, before, I was going to put on my right shoe first. If I brushed my teeth with my right hand, I was going to brush my teeth with the left hand. I had so many years of habits of an addict that in order to change that, I had to change two things. I had to change all habits that I had created over those years. But the most important thing is I had to change the picture of how I saw myself. And I don't mean the picture that you portray out there. I'm talking about the picture that when it's just you alone with yourself, that inner picture of how you see yourself. I had to change that because that picture was always very destructive, and I was going to die alone, homeless. That was the real inner picture. So I had to change that, and I had to see myself in a different light, and I started to do that, and fortunately, as an addict, you spend a lot of energy in a lot of negative energy, and when you're sober, you still have that same energy. It's just now you can channel it into positive. And so you still have that same force. One was working negative, one's working positive. And I think that once I was able to change that inner picture and move that energy into a positive level, then I was able to really make strides. I was able to have success before. I wasn't able to sustain it because I would destruct it. So so now all of a sudden I had an opportunity to move forward and sustain the success, and I was very fortunate. And I was very fortunate as a leader of people, and people followed me, and I had strong vision, and it worked very successfully.
So, Roger, what is your opinion? You've been homeless. What is your opinion on the other folks or the folks that are homeless? Do you think the majority of homeless are mentally ill, or we have this debate on Fort Myers Beach where some people choose to be homeless. They want to live on the beach. They just want to
Hmm.
live how they want to live. Other people say it's mentally ill. They need help. I mean, what is? It's a bigger
It,
problem in bigger cities, obviously, in
yeah, for
California and
sure.
other cities. But
Yes.
I mean, what is your opinion on all of that?
My opinion is that the majority of the homeless today are dealing with mental illness or drug addiction. But there are some people they want to live out in the open. They don't want to be tied that. But I don't think. I think that's the minority. I think the majority are really, really dealing with some deep issues, and they don't have a way out. They don't know of a way out, and they don't believe that whatever way out there is sustainable for them because they don't they don't see anything positive going on in their life, unfortunately.
So, what do you think? What do you think the answer is to that? Do you think um, the people that need help if they're mentally ill, and let's say the county or that state is trying to help them get into a facility, but they don't want to go? How do you resolve that? What's the right way to resolve that?
Um, you keep on pushing, and you hope that you can hit them at a time where they finally, give up and say, I need help. I mean, I don't think you stop. I think it's something that's constant, and you keep on pushing at it, and you keep on trying to help these people, and hopefully, they give up and say, okay, and we'll take that help.
So, what what
I,
what what helped you? How did you turn from being homeless to your road to success?
I was really, really fortunate. Ed. I had great mentors in my life, and I talk about this a lot. That the power of multiple mentors is so important. It's not about, oh, I got one mentor. It's multiple mentors. So, one of the mentors in my life was my stepfather, who actually brought me into American Income to work, and taught me how to sell, and gave me confidence out there. I had another mentor, Mark McAndrew, who taught me, said, listen, nothing's as good as it seems, nothing's as bad as it seems. And man, I wish I knew that early on, because my life was so these highs and these lows. And if I understood that, if I'm on one of those highs and everything's going great, I'm going to hit a wall. It's just a matter of time. There's going to be an obstacle. And if I'm in one of the lows, and I can understand that this too shall pass, then man, then life goes on. And so the founder of the company that I worked for taught me about social injustice, and talking about patience and giving back into the community. If you're going to take out of the community, you put back into the community, and all those things. So I was fortunate enough to have mentors that believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. And I do think it's up to us to search out mentors. I think it's our responsibility. I think it's like it doesn't happen by happenstance. Also, you got to be open enough for it.
Do you think that, in your experience then and now, that there are enough services available out there? Is it that we need more services, or is it access? Is the problem with access, or is it just getting people, like you said, when they're ready?
Kim, that is the the age-old problem, and my belief is that we need more of everything. I think that we need more services. I think we need to come at it, through more angles. I think that there has to be a real awakening to mental health. I think that the opioid crisis, I think that opened a lot of minds, because before that it was like, oh, it's a drug addict, that's their problem. And all of a sudden, through that crisis, it became a lot of people's problems. It was their relatives, that all of a sudden were dealing with these addictions. And so I think that opened up the mind to what happens in drug addiction out there. And I think that if we can just put more money into services that really, really connect with the homeless, with with addiction out there, that we can start to solve the problem. I understand, the debate, and listen, why should we do that? That's their problem. That's but it's our problem. I mean, you look in California, it's everybody's problem. It's a big thing, and it very well can happen right here.
So, Roger, you write this book, The Most Unlikely Leader. Why'd you call it that?
Because I wasn't good at anything. So how people are like, oh, you're a naturally born salesperson, a naturally born leader. I wasn't. I wasn't. Like I said, I didn't have the education to take on that role. I wasn't good at it naturally. In fact, when I first started selling, they say, like, when you get to the end of your sale, you close it, right? And you give your closing line, and then you don't talk. And whoever talks first is the one that's the buyer, right? So, so that's the thinking behind it. I'm telling you that the back of my neck, when I would use the closing line, the back of my neck would start to shake so hard that I literally thought that the people thought I was having a seizure. I mean, I was so nervous. I was so bad at it, but I kept on doing, and I kept on doing it repetitively. And I learned early on that, listen, if it was easy, everybody would have it. And it's not easy. And so if I understand that, then I'm going to have to work really, really, really hard to do it. And I did. I was willing to work really hard as a salesperson, really hard as a leader. When I'd go into financial meetings, I felt like a fifth grader who didn't know how to read, because I didn't have that financial background. It was like, okay, what it took somebody just to pick up a spreadsheet and look at it, it took me an hours or days to understand the financials to be able to talk intelligently on it. So, we all have our own cross to bear. We all have our own burdens, but you can get over that.
So did you end up going back to school to get formal training?
No, that's why it says the most unlikely leader, an unbelievable, journey from GED to CEO. So I didn't go back. Was this was like, in the fire learning. So, but I will tell you, most people, they've been taught or they've learned or they've said, don't ever burn your bridges. And my philosophy has always it's always been burn them, burn whatever bridges you have. And I don't mean that as far as burning relationships, though you can if you want. But what I'm saying is that you're going to hit these walls, you're going to hit these obstacles, and when you hit these obstacles, if in the back of your mind you have a plan B or you have an escape hatch, the temptation to take that plan B becomes so strong. And what happens is most people don't realize their dream. They give up so easily because they have this plan B in their mind. But if you burn that bridge, if you got no place else to go but forward, it really is amazing how creative you get, and through perseverance, how you can get over that wall, get through, get around it, go over it, but get through it, but get over on the other side when you're looking back and going, okay, that was just a bump in the road.
So, Roger, what do you want people to get out of the book?
That was my question. I was going to say, it seems like it was a very cathartic event for you to do the book. And so that's what you got out of it. Well, what do you want people to get out of
it? First of all, Kim, I want to say that it really makes you really vulnerable. It's like when you write a book, if it was fiction and somebody said, and I asked, do you like the book? And they say no, you go, okay. But when it's the story of your life and you go, hey, did you like the book? And they go, not really. You go, well, wait, that's my life. How do you do that? But what I want people to get out of it is to understand that no matter where they are currently in their life, no matter what their past is, no matter what their history is, no matter how much they think that they can't do it because of circumstances, that they can overcome these circumstances. They can learn and strive and really find the success that they can have in their life. It's not only that what happens is people dream it, but then they think, no, it's not possible. And what I'm saying to you, and what I'm saying to you through this book is, not only is it possible, it is doable. And I am the epitome of that. And I hope that the book provides the inspiration for that.
So, Roger, how can people find the book? Is it on Amazon? I'm sure it's on Amazon. And is there,
yes.
I don't even know, are there any bookstores left in the country? I mean, who knows anymore? But for
there
sure,
are. There is a Barnes & Noble right
no
down
way.
the street.
Where's that? Where's that, like a
Jensen,
with
no, in Jensen Beach. It's right there. So you can get it on Amazon, or you can go to my website, rogersmith.me. That's rogersmith.me. You can order the book through there. It has all my social media on there. You can get on links and so on.
And what are you doing to keep busy? I mean, what's your job now? You're the CEO of...
Actually, I retired 4 or 5 years ago, and then I wrote the book. And now I'm trying to find next chapter. So I joined the community theater because I was used to giving a lot of speeches and I was used to getting a lot of applause. And all of a sudden, I wasn't getting any. So I thought, all right, let me do some acting. Let me get on there. And so I am. I'm actually, acting in community theater, trying to do some philanthropy and giving back to the community. And, that's it right now.
All
And
right.
doing podcasts.
And do you feel like you mentor other people? Are there people like that you're giving back to in the community that need rehabilitation and whatnot?
Yeah, before I was mentoring to people, in my companies that I had run, um, but actually, Kim, that is my next chapter. I don't believe that I'm doing it enough, and so that's my next thing. I was doing a thing where I was driving like some of the homeless to the doctor's appointments and that type of thing because they don't have transportation, but now I really, really, really want to do some mentoring in the community, and that will be my next chapter.
Well, Roger, thanks so much for coming on, and what a great story, and good luck to you in your next chapter, and good luck with the book. Hopefully you sell a lot of copies.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate it. Honor being on your show.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
It was such a pleasure. Have a great day.
All right. Take care. You too.
Roger Smith, everybody, and the name of the book.
The Most Unlikely Leader.
I hit the wrong button there, sir. The Most Unlikely Leader. Thanks, Roger Smith. And you can get it on Amazon and wherever there's a Barnes & Noble left in the United States. You can pick it up there, too. Right?
All right.
Thank you very much. And thank you all for joining us. And we will be back with our next episode the next time we have an episode. Bye.
Classic.